Every RVer knows the obvious rules. Don't speed, use your turn signals, and stay in designated camping areas. But the United States, being the legal maze that it is, has a whole bunch of RV laws that'll blindside you faster than a state trooper with a quota to fill. Some are so obscure they sound like they were written by someone who's never seen an RV, others are surprisingly logical, but barely anyone knows they exist. I'm talking about laws that can turn a peaceful camping trip into an expensive lesson in legal reality. The kind of regulations that catch experienced RVers off guard and leave newbies wondering why they're getting tickets for things that seem perfectly reasonable. Here's what really gets me. These aren't just small-town ordinances that you can laugh off. These are state and federal laws that can result in hefty fines, impounded vehicles, and even criminal charges if you're unlucky enough to break the wrong one at the wrong time. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain on 15 sneaky RV laws that are catching people every single day. These are the hidden regulations that separate the RVers who know the system from the ones funding their local traffic court. Let's dive in before you become another cautionary tale. Number 1. Generator quiet hours are legally enforced. Most RVers think generator quiet hours are just campground courtesy rules, but in many states, they're actual noise ordinances with real legal teeth. We're talking about laws that can result in citations, fines, and even impounded generators. California has statewide noise regulations that prohibit generators over 65 decibels between 8 p.m. and 6 a.m., regardless of where you're camping. Arizona has similar laws that apply to all public lands. Break these rules and you're looking at fines ranging from $150 to $500 for first-time offenses. But here's the kicker. The noise limits aren't just about when you run your generator, they're about how loud it is, period. That old Champion generator might be illegal to run even during allowed hours if it exceeds local decibel limits. Park rangers and BLM officers carry sound meters and know exactly how to use them. I've seen people get tickets for generator violations on remote public land where they thought nobody would ever find them. Number 2. Overnight parking restrictions. You never considered. Here's one that catches RVers constantly. Overnight parking laws that go way beyond the obvious no parking signs. Many cities and counties have regulations that prohibit sleeping in vehicles on public property, even if regular parking is allowed. In places like Los Angeles, it's illegal to sleep in your RV on any public street between 9 p.m. and 6 a.m., even if you're not blocking traffic. Similar laws exist in hundreds of municipalities across the country. But it gets sneakier. Some jurisdictions define camping as having any camping equipment visible in your vehicle, which means just having a sleeping bag on your passenger seat could technically violate anti-camping ordinances. These laws often apply to private property too if it's visible from public roads. That Walmart parking lot where you thought you were safe? If the local ordinance prohibits overnight parking of recreational vehicles, you can get a ticket even on private property with permission. Number 3. Weight restrictions on regular roads. Most RVers know about bridge weight limits, but here's what they don't know. Many regular roads have weight restrictions that apply to recreational vehicles even if you're not driving commercially. Michigan has seasonal weight restrictions on many roads during spring thaw periods. Get caught driving your heavy motorhome on a restricted road and you can face fines up to $500 plus the cost of any road damage they claim you caused. California has year-round weight restrictions on certain mountain roads that aren't clearly marked. Drive your 40-foot diesel pusher up the wrong mountain highway and you could be looking at citations and forced to find an alternate route that might not exist. Here's the really sneaky part. These restrictions often apply to combined vehicle weight. Your truck and trailer might each be under the limit, but together they exceed what's allowed on certain roads. Number 4. Auxiliary brake requirements. You're ignoring. In several states, if you're towing a trailer over a certain weight, you're legally required to have supplemental braking systems, not just the electric brakes on your trailer. States like Washington require auxiliary brakes on any towed vehicle over 3,000 pounds. California requires them to be over 1,500 pounds. Break these laws and you could be held liable for damages if you have an accident and investigators determine your braking system wasn't legally compliant. The requirements vary wildly between states, and what's legal in your home state might be illegal where you're traveling. Some states accept breakaway systems, others specifically require proportional braking systems. DOT officers at weigh stations are starting to check RV braking systems more frequently, and most RV dealers don't even mention these requirements when they sell you a setup. Number 5. Mandatory safety equipment violations. Every state has different requirements for safety equipment in RVs, and most people assume their rig came from the factory with everything they need. Wrong! In Texas, RVs over 26 feet are required to carry emergency triangles or flares, just like commercial vehicles. Florida requires specific types of fire extinguishers in motorhomes over a certain length. Missing these items during roadside inspection can result in citations. Some states require working carbon monoxide detectors and smoke alarms, and not just any detectors. They need to be RV-specific models that meet certain standards. Regular household detectors don't count. Emergency exits are another sneaky requirement. Some states mandate that RVs over certain sizes have functioning emergency exits that aren't blocked by furniture or storage. Number 6. Propane transport and storage violations. Propane regulations for RVs are a legal minefield. Different states have different rules about how much propane you can carry, where you can carry it, and what safety requirements apply. Many states limit the total amount of propane you can transport without special permits. In some places, carrying more than 100 pounds of propane requires hazmat endorsements on your driver's license, even in a personal RV. Some states count all propane containers combined, including your main tank, auxiliary tanks, and even small camping bottles. Exceed the limit and you could face hefty fines and be forced to dump expensive propane. Several states have laws about traveling with propane, including requirements for main valves to be shut off when driving through tunnels or over certain bridges. Number 7. Electrical system and lighting compliance. RV electrical systems seem straightforward, but there are dozens of sneaky laws governing everything from your running lights to your backup alarms. Clearance lights are a big one. RVs over certain widths or heights are required to have specific combinations of clearance lights, marker lights, and reflectors. These aren't just recommendations, they're legal requirements that vary by state. Backup alarms are required on RVs over certain lengths in some states, just like commercial vehicles. Miss this requirement and you could get a ticket even if you're just backing into a campsite. Some states require different lighting during different seasons or weather conditions. Daytime running lights, for example, are mandatory for large RVs in some jurisdictions during winter months. Number 8. Driver license endorsement requirements. Some states require special endorsements or even commercial licenses to drive certain types of RVs, even for personal use. The rules are inconsistent and confusing. Several states require non-commercial Class B licenses for motorhomes over 26,000 pounds GVWR, even if you're using them personally. Others require special endorsements for air brake systems. Some states base the requirement on combined vehicle weight. Tow a car behind your motorhome, and suddenly you might need a different license class than when you're driving solo. DOT officers are checking licenses more frequently during routine stops, and the penalties for driving without proper endorsements can include vehicle impoundment until a properly licensed driver can be found. Number 9. Wastewater discharge restrictions. Gray water and black water discharge laws are way more complex than most RVers realize, with regulations that go far beyond the obvious "don't dump sewage on the ground" rules. Many states prohibit gray water discharge even in remote areas, regardless of whether you're using biodegradable soaps. Others allow gray water discharge, but only in specific locations with specific restrictions. Some jurisdictions treat all RV wastewater as hazardous material, including gray water from sinks and showers. Discharge it in the wrong place and you could face environmental cleanup costs and criminal charges. Storm drain violations are especially sneaky. In many urban areas, it's illegal to discharge any RV wastewater into storm drains, even accidentally. Number 10. Parking and maneuvering size restrictions. Size restrictions for RVs go way beyond just fitting into parking spaces. Many jurisdictions have laws that restrict where you can drive, park, or even stop based on your vehicle's dimensions. Many cities prohibit RVs over certain lengths from parking on residential streets, even temporarily. Drive your 35-foot motorhome through the wrong neighborhood and you could get citations for multiple parking violations. Width restrictions are equally sneaky. Some states have different width limits for different types of roads, and exceeding them can result in oversized load violations even if you're driving a factory-stock RV. Maneuvering restrictions that prohibit certain types of turns or backing maneuvers on public roads can leave you trapped if you make a wrong turn. Number 11. Speed limit differences for RVs. Most RVers assume they can drive the posted speed limit regardless of what they're driving, but many states have different speed limits for different types of vehicles. Several states have lower speed limits for vehicles towing trailers, regardless of size. Others have specific limits for motorhomes over certain weights. These aren't always clearly posted. Mountain grade speed limits are especially tricky. Some states have specific speed limits for large RVs on mountain roads that are different from both regular traffic and commercial vehicles. Some jurisdictions have different speed limits during different times of day or weather conditions. What's legal at noon might be illegal at midnight. Number 12. Registration and insurance quirks. RV registration and insurance requirements vary wildly between states, and what's legal in your home state might not be sufficient where you're traveling. Some states require additional registration categories for RVs over certain lengths or weights, even for personal use. Others require commercial insurance policies for large motorhomes. Temporary registration requirements for extended stays catch people constantly. Stay in some states for more than a certain number of days, and you're required to obtain local registration. Out-of-state inspection requirements are another trap. Some jurisdictions require RVs to pass local safety inspections before they can be registered or operated within state boundaries. Number 13. Occupancy while driving restrictions. Many states have laws restricting who can be in travel trailers or certain parts of motorhomes while the vehicle is in motion. Break these rules and you could face child endangerment or reckless driving charges. Most states prohibit anyone from riding in travel trailers while they're being towed, but enforcement and penalties vary widely. Some treat it as a minor traffic violation, others consider it reckless endangerment. Motorhome occupancy laws are more complex. Some states require all passengers to use seat belts in designated seating areas while driving. Others prohibit passengers from using beds, dinettes, or other areas while the vehicle is in motion. Some of these laws apply differently to adults and children, with stricter requirements for minors. Number 14. Weapons and contraband transport issues. Transporting firearms, medications, and other regulated items in RVs creates legal complications that most people never consider. State laws vary dramatically. Firearm transport laws are especially complex because RVs blur the line between vehicles and residences. Some states treat your RV as a home for gun storage purposes, while others treat it as a vehicle with stricter transport requirements. Prescription medication transport can also create problems, especially with controlled substances. Some states require medications to be in original containers with specific labeling. Agricultural inspection requirements at state borders catch many RVers. Many states prohibit transporting certain plants, foods, or organic materials, and RV refrigerators often contain items that violate these restrictions. Number 15. Commercial use assumptions and violations. Here's the sneaky one that can turn your vacation into a legal nightmare. Laws that treat certain RV activities as commercial operations even when they're not. Social media documentation can trigger commercial use assumptions. Post too many photos of your RV travels online, especially with any kind of monetization, and authorities might assume you're operating commercially. Extended stay patterns can also trigger commercial use assumptions. Stay in one area too long or follow predictable seasonal patterns, and you might be classified as a commercial operator subject to business licensing requirements. Proving you're not operating commercially can be nearly impossible once you're caught in the system. The burden of proof often shifts to you to demonstrate that your RV use is purely personal. Look, I know this seems overwhelming, but here's the reality. These laws exist and they're being enforced every single day. The difference between RVers who enjoy trouble-free travel and those who collect expensive citations isn't luck, it's knowledge. The good news is that most of these violations are easily avoided once you know what to look for. The key is doing your homework before you travel and staying informed about the specific requirements in each state you'll be visiting. Don't assume that what's legal in your home state applies everywhere else. Don't trust that your RV dealer has told you everything you need to know. And definitely don't assume that ignorance will protect you when you're dealing with law enforcement officers who see RV violations every day. Now I want to hear from you. Have you been caught by any of these sneaky laws? What's the most ridiculous RV citation you've ever received? Drop your stories in the comments because real experience is the best teacher. And if this video might save someone from an expensive legal surprise, share it with your RVing friends. Hit that like button, subscribe for more insider knowledge about RV laws, and remember, the road is full of legal traps just waiting for unsuspecting RVers who thought they knew all the rules.